Welcome, everybody. This is Laura Jane with What's Happening in San Diego, our weekly podcast diving into the things that are happening musically, theatrically, any kind of entertainment going on in this beautiful San Diego land. We're going to have our finger on the pulse. And today, I'm so stoked because we have the Dave Gonzalez of the Paladins here.
Hello there, LJ.
But he has got a new project with Susanna Van Tassel, and they are putting out a new record. We're going to start out this podcast with track number 1 from their new record, Think We're Gonna Be All Right, on Lux Records. This is Susanna Van Tassel and Dave Gonzalez. I got you, you got me.
That's the one.
All right, let's do it.
Don't get no attention from the people on the street. They don't even see us, they just step right on our feet.
Just two unnoticed people in this great big world are we. And when I think about it, babe, I guess that's all we'll ever be.
But I got you, and you got me, and if they look, they could see that we don't care.
I got you and you got me, and baby, that's all we will ever need.
Looking through the window of a fancy diamond store, going window shopping for the things we can't afford.
People all around us with their noses in the air. They walk on by us just like we're not even there.
But I got you, and you got me, and if they look, they could see that we don't care.
I got you and you got me, and baby, that's all we will ever need.
Looking through the window of a fancy diamond store, going window shopping for the things we can't afford.
Just two unnoticed people in this great big world are we. And when I think about it, I guess that's all we'll ever be.
But I got you, and you got me, and if they look, they could see that we don't care.
I got you and you got me, and baby, that's all we will ever need. Yeah,
I got you, and you got me, and baby, that's all we will ever need.
I love that track. It really kills, and it gets your attention. And I love Susanna's voice.
She
and
sure
your
has a good voice, doesn't she?
Oh my!
And she picked that song too. That was a favorite of hers, and real kind of a '60s vibe to it. And we love classic country, but we like also the different styles of it. And so I produced this record. And I'm a studio nut and a record collector, and Susanna is too. She's a record collector, and so she picked "I Got You, You Got Me," and we had a fabulous steel guitar player, Mr. Dave Zerbel, on that record.
That sounds so beautiful.
Yeah.
So who did that song originally?
Waylon Jennings, and his female partner was Anita Carter, who's June Carter's baby sister.
Oh, okay, cool.
And some Nashville songwriters, and I can't think of their names right offhand right now because of the CRS I have, but they charted with it, and it was a real 60s sounding record with a 12-string guitar, and I liked it. But when we went to do it, we had this beautiful 12-string, and I asked Dave to play the melody, and even though I had a 12-string guitar sitting there, I had a different plan for it, and Susanna, she brought that one to life, and we just decided to lead the whole record off with it, even though we're not calling the title track that. So Susanna, she's a talented girl, and she made a couple of records way back, around the millennium. Then she became a mother, and
that
so
takes a lot of time.
She decided to do that and be a good mom and not try to run a band or front a band. But prior to that, she sang all over Central Texas in all the honky tonks and all the clubs, and she got a couple of records out back then that were very good. And I saw her singing maybe about close to 10 years ago, maybe at a Loretta Lynn tribute show. And
no, did you know her before that?
I didn't. I did not know her. I saw her at this Loretta Lynn tribute show, and she was one of the standout vocalists for sure. And I've never got a chance to run into her. I was always busy with my band, the Paladins, or some other bands I was in, the Hacienda Brothers, Stone River Boys, this and that. But finally, just by a fluke of a chance, we met at a country show that was during South by Southwest, and that was about 6 years ago. And a friend of mine was throwing the show. I went down there just to support him and hang out, and I was just sitting there just enjoying the music, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, one of the bands is going to be late. Would you mind singing a couple extra songs with these guys?" And I said, "I'd sure love to." Right before I did that, Susanna went up there and sang. And I was like, "Ooh, this girl sings good, and I think I heard her before." And then she came up and said hello, and she had heard the Paladins before years ago. And so then when it was my turn to get up with the band, I sang one tune, and then I said, "I really would love to sing a song with Susanna Van Tassel." And so she came up, and we did our first duet together. So then after a while, a few months went by, and I got an email from the lady that was putting together the Loretta Lynn show. And she said, "Susanna asked if I could contact you, and if she said she's going to do this Loretta Lynn song, and she needs a Conway Twitty." So
awesome.
We did our first duet together at a show, and that was After the Fire Is Gone at the Loretta Lynn show, and it went really good. And I was like, so many years has gone by, and I've written and picked out songs I would like to hear as a duet. I'd like to learn how to sing duet, and it's different than just only singing harmony, putting a little harmony here, putting a little harmony there. And for instance, if you picked a song that you really had your groove on with, and it was in your vocal range, and we decided to do a duet on it, it didn't necessarily mean it'd be in my range, and vice versa. If I had a song, "Hey, I've been singing this song in G my whole life," and you say, "Yeah, but that's a little bit low for me, let's pick it up." And so when you're doing a duet, you got to find different spaces to put your vocal in. And it's challenging, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and it's stories, too. Like, the stories of a duet are so important, yes, I feel.
Yeah.
And you've got some great stories on this record, for sure.
Thank you.
Including a story that you wrote that we're going to play next for you called Sky Turned Blue.
Sky Turned Blue.
Now, this is from the new record, man. The record is called Think We're Gonna Be All Right.
Yeah, that's another original tune, but we're going to save that one for the end of the show, I think.
And we're going to play Sky Turned Blue right now, and then we'll talk about it right after we play it.
Very good. Here it is.
All right, here it is. Sky Turned Blue.
dream come true. The skies are clear when I'm with you. The cloudy days are far away. You make my every sky turn blue. You make the heartaches disappear. You washed away my every tear. The things you do prove love is true. You make my every sky turn blue. I can't forget the day I first laid eyes on you. They say that love is blind, but I don't think it's true. So many reasons for why I feel this way, and that is why we count our blessings every day. First laid eyes on you. They say that love is blind, but I don't think it's true. So many reasons for why I feel this way, and that is why we count our blessings every day. You make my every dream come true. The skies are clear when I'm with you. The cloudy days are far away. You make my every sky turn blue. You make my every sky turn blue. You make my every sky turn blue.
All right, that was Sky Turn Blue. Fantastic. Thank you, Dave.
Thank you.
So who wrote this song?
Well, Susanna and I wrote this one together, and we were getting ready. We finally had hung out together for a few years and bounced a few songs off each other, and finally had an opportunity where we were going to actually get to go record some songs. I said, why don't we just write a brand new song, special, just right now? And we did it. It just came, it just fell out of the sky, pretty much. Sky Turned Blue. It really did. And we were starting to fall in love at that point, too.
Oh.
So it just came together at that point. We had just really started to get together. And so that record came out good. And I'm proud of it, and she is too. And it was really the first one we really teamed up together on. And instead of just bouncing a song off each other, we wrote that one from scratch right out of the blue. And, I kind of wanted to have a more folksy, Flowers on the Wall was really the record that I really kept in the back of my mind when we cut this one. Getting the rhythm section, Dana Burt on drums, Glenn Earl Brown on bass, and getting them to really just have that push-pull thing going like Flowers on the Wall, which is one of my favorites of all time.
I remember that song very well.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you hinted at the fact that you are sweethearts with Susanna Van Tassel, and I might wonder if that's one of the reasons that your record is released on Valentine's Day 2018, February 14th.
Yeah. Well, we missed our anniversary already, so we said, well, what's the next one coming up?
Well, perfect. And you're going to put this out on CD, on digital, and on vinyl, too,
on
right?
vinyl, on Lux Records, which is a label here in San Diego, which is run, incidentally, by Thomas Yearsley from the Paladins. And he's a vinyl man, he's an analog man, and like I said, we've been together for a long time, the Paladins, and we know each other for so long, and I just was so happy that he agreed to release this record for us, because out of all these years and all the record deals Paladins had, all the different record deals I had with all my other bands, and Susanna too, it's like, we love making music, we love writing songs and recording, but also chasing around a record deal and putting up with all kinds of people's
stuff instead of just making it right from the heart, caring as you possibly can. I'm probably getting kind of cheesy right now, but
Well, I
but
tell
really,
you, from the heart is the way this record is. I
Yeah.
mean, I think that's what country music kind of
It
is.
is. It is. The real
it's
country
music from the heart. It's stories
Heart
about
songs.
real life, real love, real,
situations, yeah.
situations that humans go through. And that's what I think makes country music the best-selling music in America, usually.
Well, the vintage country sound was one that I always loved since I was a kid, and my dad loved it. I had uncles that played it, as well as rock music and rock and roll. My mother loved rock and roll. My grandma loved jazz, but I just always had a thing for the real good Bakersfield sound, and then I progressed into the Nashville sound, and I really produced this record with both those sounds in mind, and I really always say, this record has the sound of West meets East, because we have definitely a West Coast feel. Even the Paladins do, because we grew up here where Buck Owens and Merle Haggard were king, and I lived really close to Bakersfield when I was a kid, and my dad played those records all the time. But as we collected records more and more, Patsy Cline and Willie Nelson and on, and we found out about all the great Nashville productions, and, some people, oh yeah, but they're too produced. Well, some records sound good produced, and some records sound raw, and I like them both. And I used
And what about Texas influence? Because you both live in Texas.
Yes, we do. We both live down there where honky tonk and people still play real honky tonk country down there. And there's a lot of dance halls down there that we go to. We play some of them sometimes. One of the most famous is called the Broken Spoke. I've only been there a couple of times playing there myself, but Susanna played there once a month for quite a long time, for many years. And then last year when we first started putting this record together, it's been about a year, we went down and played the Broken Spoke a couple times. And Mr. James White, he was very happy to see Susanna again, and he's called us a number of times. When's that record coming out? When are you guys coming over? And he's offered us some gigs and stuff too, and we're still just barely starting this thing out. We'll do it, but there is such a big tradition there, and Texas has its own thing. They love Buck Owens and all that stuff. They love the Nashville sound, but they have their own thing, the Western swing. Ernest Tubb, who was doing his thing even before Hank Williams was, I mean, that's the tradition down there. Ray Price, Johnny Bush, I mean, those guys are still the kings down there. And you can go out any of these dance halls in Texas we go to down there, and they're playing all the good, real honky-tonk songs, and the people are dancing all night. Two-step. It's a magic place.
Fun place to dance in Austin. I got a chance to go to a dance hall there, and I was asked to dance by all these Texans. And I said yes every time, because I never get to two-step. I mean, no one in San Diego two-steps. Yeah. So it was a real treat for me to have that feel.
It's more like a showcase.
Hey, speaking of showcase, you played at South by Southwest last year,
yes,
and you're going to
did.
play again this year.
Yeah, it's coming up again this March, and it's a big event. If you haven't heard about it, South by Southwest, mostly young bands. And if you have a record out, or you're looking for a record deal, and promoters from all over the world go to check bands out there. I've been there a number of times, and it's a good time to meet a lot of people. We had a real good time last year. We must have played, I think, maybe 5 shows during the whole South by Southwest, and we hope we can do the same again. Last year we had our record mixed and mastered, but we hadn't secured a record deal yet. And I kind of got away from this record, because then I hooked back up with the Paladins. Paladins ended up making the first record we've made in over 15 years, and that really took a lot of work, but it was a blast. At first, I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it, because I was so involved with working with Susanna and doing country music, and then I had to get back on the Paladins wagon there and rock out with those guys. And so by the time we got done with that, we didn't really have time to shop Susanna's record around. And she already's kind of like, been there, done that, but she's glad to be recording and writing again, and a lot of people are glad to hear her sing again. But she's not like, oh man, I got to do this right away. Let's hurry. She's totally relaxed, and you can hear it on this record. It's like, when it happens, it's going to happen. Let's not be too pushy about it. You've got to stay on it. And she was very understanding. She's a Paladins fan. I'm grateful for that. And she said, hey, you guys getting back together again is pretty cool. So go do that for a while, but don't forget, come on back to me too.
Well, I'm so excited that this is really a great year for you because, like you said, New World, the new Paladins record, came out in April 2017. Now in February of 2018, the Susanna Van Tassel and Dave Gonzalez new record comes out on February 14th. So it's great. You got 2 new records in 1 year, man. You are the man.
Well, nearly,
You
yes, thank
are
you.
the man. I mean, it must feel really great.
Well, it does. And it's fantastic that we're getting an opportunity to speak with you about it.
Yeah.
And Hapnyn podcast, you call it, I guess, but that was real good to meet Chris and see how enthusiastic he is about the music and all the things happening in San Diego and the Southern California area, and that it's wide open, to listen to all different kinds of musics, and that's how it should be. There's so many great different types of music that have always come from San Diego.
Absolutely.
Rosie and the Originals started
we feel
it out.
very, very lucky to have that legacy continue.
And the Beat Farmers and
Yeah.
Country Dick and Tim Mays and the Casbah and the Belly Up Club and all these places that we played for years and years. And man, we're so lucky.
This podcast is brought to you by Hapnyn. Looking for something to do? Whether it's live music, dancing, theater, comedy, karaoke, trivia night, burlesque, interpretive dancing, you name it, you can find it on hapnyn.com. Visit hapnyn.com to find out what's happening near you. Well, this is a fantastic surprise. As we're recording this podcast today, who should walk through the door at Thunderbird Analog Recording Studio in downtown Oceanside, California, but the one and only Jack Tempchin.
Hey,
Jack.
Laura Jane, thank you. It started raining on me. I had to go in somewhere. I was walking around, and it wasn't supposed to rain.
I'm so excited that you're here because we were just talking about Susanna Van Tassel and Dave Gonzalez's new record, Think We're Gonna Be All Right. And one of the tracks on it you co-wrote, so we're going to listen to the song and then we're going to come back and talk about it. It's called Dreams of You.
So many nights I spent alone but couldn't sleep. I held you in my mind and in my heart so deep. So tell me you have dreamed of me. Yes, it's true. I have dreamed of How could we know that we'd been dreaming of each other, and that the day would come we'd finally be together?
We didn't know that we were dreaming of each other, and that we both had been through so much stormy weather.
So tell me you have dreamed of me. Yes, it's true. I have love and time we've wasted. And let's believe in all the love we share together. Now that we've found it, we can make it last forever. I believe the dreams come true. All the time I've dreamed of you. All I see is you and me, and our love will always be. So tell me you have dreamed of me. Yes, it's true. I have dreamed of you. So tell me you have dreamed of me. Yes, it's true. I have dreamed of you.
All right, how did this song come about, gentlemen? Tell me about
Well,
it.
if you don't mind me
Please.
saying, first of all, Jack, howdy.
Hey, man, it's been a while.
Been a while. And it was a number of years ago, and I was already moving to Texas. And Jack and I had known each other for many years, and we talked about writing songs together. And the band, the Paladins I'm in, has covered a couple of his songs, big hits for us. 15 Days Under the Hood. and
Yes.
Who's Been Sleeping in My Bed? And so, hey, let's write some songs. And this has been going on since the late 1900s.
Yeah, that's right. Since the last century, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing we're both 150 years old and we're still
We can
going.
still
'cause-
do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, he would call my telephone and say, hey, this is Jack. Listen to this. Boom, 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 and he'd sing me a song. And I'd go, man, I got to call Jack back. And so then I would call him back and say, hey, that sounds pretty cool. Let's get together, blah, blah, blah. And one day, and this is the honest truth, I was about to leave town. I was leaving the very next day, and I said, oh my gosh, Jack called me, and I have not hooked up with him, and I'm getting ready to leave town for a while. And so I called you back, and somehow I said, brother, we got to do this now. Is there any way we can hook up? And we got on it right away. I think that day or the next day, and I came over to your studio.
Yeah. My
And,
studio in my backyard. We just sat
yeah.
there and started piecing it together.
Yeah, and it was great because he had all these rockin' tunes, these blues songs, and this and that. And I said, Jack, you know what? I got this little thing I'm starting to write here. And I played you the first couple chords, and you went, oh, wow. You want to write a love song.
Yeah. Yeah, love
And that's what we did. We wrote the song. He jumped in there. We put it together, the bridge, which we didn't have. And
That's right. So I was just across the street.
Yeah.
I just happened to be taking a walk in Oceanside. I went into a bar I never went in before. There's a band,
a
hometown.
bar that you've never been in before.
Yeah, a Small Town Heroes.
There you go.
Yeah.
And I asked the guy, do you know Tommy Yersley? He goes, oh, yeah, he's right across the street. He's coming over. He was on the phone with Tom right then. And Tom said, come over. And then you guys have the vinyl album. And
Which
suddenly
just
the song
came in the mail yesterday.
And then
from
the song, I
Press and
walk in and you just played me the vinyl version of the finished record.
It's a magical night for
It's
sure.
crazy. Man.
Totally
It's
great.
unbelievable.
Now, you used to live across the street from one another in Encinitas, is that right?
Nearby.
Like, kind of?
Nearby, yeah.
Nearby. In
They
the
played at
spectrum
the
of the
Belly
universe,
Up
We
and-
did.
Yeah.
And our dear friend Mac Falk, who introduced us to
Yeah,
each
that's
other.
right.
And
Cool.
I have to admit, as long as we've known each other, the amount of respect I have for you and your songwriting, I was very nervous listening to the album with you, hearing it for the first
Oh,
time.
no, man. It's
I said,
gorgeous.
oh
It's
boy,
gorgeous, yeah.
talk about, man, here you go. But what an honor and a really big surprise. You actually did just come walking. I'm not going to say stumbling in and out of the bar, but
yeah, well, I guess it is really, It really
okay,
is
you
the
can admit
truth.
it.
Oh man,
It was great. This is great.
Well, I think it's about time we play the title track from your record. So tell me a little bit about this before I play it.
Think we're going to be all right. It's just a little saying that, if you're worried about something or things aren't going good, and it's just came up with a story that I wrote, and I wrote this song right when I met Susanna, and I was writing a bunch of songs for the band I was in, the Stone River Boys, and I was like, man, we were just at the end of our project, and they were kind of like, do you got any other songs? Do you got any other songs? And I said, yes, I do. Got plenty of songs, but I have one that's really stuck in my mind right now, and it'd make a great duet. And they said, oh, no, we don't need no duets. Forget it. And I sang it for Susanna, and she goes, oh, I love it. I love it. And I said, I love it because I finally can hear her side of the story.
Right.
Not just mine, and she added a lot to it. And so that was really cool. And then just at the same time that all was going down, I got into a deal with building a recording studio for a gentleman out in the East Coast in Massachusetts. And, I didn't see Susanna for a few months. And then when I came back from the East Coast, I told her, hey, I built a studio out east, and I need to go there and cut some demos just to test out the snake, test out the microphones, test out the machines, and just the owner wants to just cut some demos down there. So what do you say we go to the East Coast? So we went there. That's where we demoed up that song, Think We're Gonna Be All Right. And she really took to it. She loved the song, but then she started really learning it and figuring out how to sing each word, and long story longer, but that's what I'm famous for. Anyways,
right.
It became our title track, finally, after all of that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hold on to your cowboy boots because this is Think We're Gonna Be All Right by Susanna Van Tassel and Dave Gonzalez.
When I think about our love and what you mean to me, and all the things that we've been through together, you and me.
Held our love together, we hardly fuss or fight. So many times I hear you say, I think we're gonna be alright.
We'd take it day by day, and even when times get thin, we wouldn't have it any other way.
When I look into your eyes and when I lay with you each night, with your arms around me, baby, I think we're gonna be alright. I think we're gonna be alright.
But times are changing, we take it day by day.
We can't make it all the way.
When we're there, you will see nothing better. Our love was meant to be.
That's a great song, Dave.
Thank you, LJ. Coming from you, that means a lot.
It's beautiful. I love the whole record. I've listened to it over and over again, and I'm just so pleased. I really hope that you get to come to San Diego to play live. That would be cool. What do you have planned for 2018?
Susanna and I are planning to come out for the summer. And the band that's backing us up on this record, they're called the Branded Men.
Okay.
And they live up near San Francisco. They got quite a few gigs up there. And actually, Susanna and I have been up there playing with them many times before we ever recorded. And they've been asking for us to come back. So I was saying, well, let's get our record out first before we start going out and trying to do all these things. We got some interest in the Midwest for a couple of shows out there, and also some stuff on the East Coast too. So I just hope it all falls into place. We're not going to push it too hard, but we're going to try to promote it. Lux Records is going to try to promote it. Where are the places here in town that you go buy the record at?
Well, definitely, I know from talking with Thomas Yearsley of Lux Records that it is going to be available at Luz Records in Encinitas,
Cool.
at Cow Records in OB, at M Theory Records, which is in Mission Hills,
Yep.
and on his website, luxrecordsusa.com, you can buy the vinyl, the CD, or you can digital download it there.
In the digital world, but I'll let you know, we made this record all analog. And,
Beautiful.
we did it at very, very minimal acoustic guitars, 2 vocal mics right in the same room with the whole band. And there was a few overdubs because they couldn't play electric guitar and acoustic guitar at the same time. But the steels, bass, drums, all in one room. And then, had to add the production to the songs that needed in it, a couple extra guitars here and there. But pretty much everything was just cut on the spot, old school analog, and then mixed from the analog recorder to a mixed down tape recorder, and even mastered off the tape recorder, off the tapes.
Well, I appreciate your hands-on
I just love the old
analog
style.
approach.
I just love the old style, and that's what I know. It's what I grew up with. That's what makes me happy. And
Well, you know what would make me happy?
yes.
Please ask Tim Mays if you can play at the Casbah in San Diego.
Oh, that's a
because
good idea.
I think he would say yes. And since you're going to be playing on the West Coast anyway, up in San Francisco, please make San Diego a destination.
Oh, heck yeah. We want to come
because
home for sure.
I love this record, and I
you.
think it would go over great at the Casbah. They play a lot of country music there.
Oh, yeah. Tim Mays loves all kinds of music, and he's done so much to promote all kinds of music in San Diego, and he's a national treasure, in my opinion.
Well, here. You're a national treasure.
Oh, shucks,
We've been
thank you.
talking today on what's happening in San Diego with Mr. Dave Gonzalez. Susanna
Senior.
Van Tassel
Susanna Van
could
Tassel.
not be here today, but she sends her love from Austin. And everyone needs to go buy this record for sure. It's going to be great.
Or log on to the website and give it a listen and see if you
can,
dig it.
You can have a little sample. All right, well, that's a wrap here with the legendary Dave Gonzalez of the Paladins, the Hacienda Brothers, the Stone River Boys, and now finally teaming up with his sweetheart, Susanna Van Tassel, for their new record, I Think We're Gonna Be All Right, released February 14th. This is Laura Jane. It's been a pleasure coming to you from Thunderbird Analog Studio in beautiful Oceanside, California. Please log in to hapnyn.com. That's HAPNYN.com. Anytime you need a source for what's happening in San Diego, baby.
What's happening?
What's happening?